I cut them because a lot of them, which we'll get into, but a lot of them come in with sentimental and emotional attachment. People send me their boots to make, and sometimes it will be like a deceased grandfather or father or grandmother, aunt, you name it, best friend. And so I have this precious thing of theirs that has stories and life all up into it. And sometimes they'll write me a letter telling me about their loved one. And it's this really fun way of me connecting to people.
Sylvia and me.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Beckerman, host of the podcast series Sylvia and Me, conversations with extraordinary, inspiring women.
My name is Nikki Edmundson, and my business is called Canty Boots. We make original, handmade, redesigned, short cowgirl boots. Every pair is unique and not duplicated. I live in Southwest Montana, and welcome to Sylvia and Me.
Nikki, this is great. I am so pleased to have you here. Canty Boots. I've taken a look at your boots, and they are unique. They truly are. And you're in Butte, Montana.
Harrison.
Harrison. Okay.
Yeah,
I've been to Montana once, but I'm not very good with geography.
that's
So
okay.
tell us how did you even decide to start a business like this, which is unique in itself?
Sure. So I am from Butte, actually. Originally, I'm from Butte, which is
I knew
not,
it had something to do with it.
yes. It's not agricultural. It's, it's city, if you will, for Montana. And I started dating my current husband, and he's a cowboy rancher. And he gifted me cowboy boots, 15 years ago. And they were new to me. I was obsessed. I really started shopping around for vintage boots and familiarizing myself with brands. And I found a pair of eel skin, tall cowboy boots that were rubbing my calves. And if you learn about leathers when you're working with leathers and boots, you'll learn quickly which ones do not stretch. They'll just tear or crack. An eel is one of those. So I really had no option except to give them away, sell them, or cut them. And I cut them and rolled them. And people, when I wore them into town, everyone gave me compliments. And I just figured, why not start selling them? So that's how we started.
Okay. But you only had one pair of boots at that time. They were yours.
Yes.
So you said you started, you figured, why not? Let's start selling them. But you can't just go into a business and go, okay, I have one pair. How did you even decide on, did you do a second pair and sell them? Did you do a dozen pair? How, what was your thought?
So I was actually, it's kind of funny looking back, I was kind of insecure about it. To like locals. Like I didn't really tell anybody what I was doing or what I was brewing, but I got on Etsy and I opened a little shop and I made like 3 or 4 pairs, and they were, I want to say $115 or something. I probably paid 60 and was just trying to come close to doubling my money. And I would put time and different materials into each pair. And I sold a pair. One of the first sales that I had was to Australia, and I thought that was so weird. I was like, I am already sending something across the world. So I got really excited. I started trying to find more boots and different sizes, and um, I didn't have a name for them. I hadn't named my Etsy store, and I went to my husband and I was like, I have to come up with a name for my business. And he said, look up the word canty. And it's an adjective that means lively, upbeat, and in good spirit.
Oh,
It was
wonderful.
perfect. Perfect. So once I named them, and then I believe an influencer out of France messaged me and asked if I would send her a pair of boots to put on her blog. And when she posted is when I finally kind of released it and was no longer insecure about it. And it just, it kind of blew up then. Not to compared to the blow up now, but they were all very simple design back then, and we've come a long way. We're doing totally different things now. But I remember just seeing sale after sale after sale when I finally was willing to like be proud of it, I guess, you know?
It takes time. I
Yeah.
mean, especially as women, we kind of sometimes hold ourselves back from, did we really do this? Is this really, taking
Mhm.
off and can I really sustain it?
Right.
So your boots are unique. Do you come up with the designs yourself, or where does that creativity come from?
Um, so yes, every single pair that comes in here still today, I cut them personally and I choose the tops with the bottoms or the materials that we're going to use. And then I have multiple people that help from the process after that. Um, but I I cut them because a lot of them, which we'll get into, but a lot of them come in with sentimental and emotional attachment. People send me their boots to make, and sometimes it will be like a deceased grandfather or father or grandmother, and you name it, best friend. And so I have this precious thing of theirs that has stories and life all wrapped up into it. And sometimes they'll write me a letter telling me about their loved one. And it's this really fun way of me connecting to people. But because that can't be replaced, and we can't, yeah, we literally, if we mess that up, we're in big trouble. So for 10 years, have been the only one that actually cuts the boots. And I feel like I'll be doing it for the next 10 because I don't know how to give that part of it away. And I really love it. So there's that too. But
But let's go back a second. So you mentioned that a lot of them have sentimentality attached to them. So how did people, because you started off by making, three or four boots, you had your Etsy, and then somebody from Australia, an influencer said, can you make me a pair of boots? Had she sent you something? Did you ask? I mean, how did you went from making your own pair
right.
because they hurt your calves, and I think, I don't know exactly what percentage of your business is actually taking pieces of other people's, boots and sentimental other pieces of, whether it be fabric or items, and incorporating them into a very, very special, unique pair of boots. So how did you even think of that? And was there one person in particular who started you off on that?
So back when I call them Gen 1, when I was still just folding everything down and accessorizing them, that's what I
Okay.
call my Gen 1 design. Even back when I was doing that, I had so many people that would say, I have a pair of boots. Can you do that to mine? And so I can't take credit for coming up with that idea. But I would personalize their boots. I would charge them obviously a much lower fee because it was just a service, no product. We knew that they fit. But as soon as I started realizing that I'm selling footwear online and people are uncomfortable buying footwear online, but then we have I mean, it's an average return rate, but it's in the footwear industry, it's always going to be pretty high for returns. And so we were able to figure out, well, we never get a return when it's their own boot. That's never going
They
to
can't
happen.
say it doesn't fit.
Yeah, they can't say it doesn't fit. And we also don't charge them until they approve the design. So it's 100% satisfaction. So we quickly tried to really hit that vein and get people to realize that they don't have to spend $500 on my designs, my retail on the shelf ready to go. They can just send it in and we charge $150. Um, and if there's extra materials added, of course, we do like designer bags that we cut up and Pendleton fabric, and that is higher. But they can send in their grandfather's boot tops and their boot bottoms, and that's still $150 for that boot that we make. So it's about 25% of our business right now, but I wish that it was half because I sincerely enjoy it the most.
Well, not only that, but you're creating a story for someone. It's
Yeah.
not just a pair of boots, it's a complete story.
Yes.
Um, in fact, you have a story of, I believe there was a young woman who was getting married and
Mhm.
asked you to make up a pair of boots. And it wasn't just from
Right.
one person in her life.
Right. I'll never forget that one. She sent in her boots along with her grandfather's boot tops and her grandmother's belts. And we were able to incorporate all of it. And she wrote me after the wedding and said that she felt like they were with her. They had both passed on. And so she had this super special way to walk with them. And when she let me know that, I still get emotional. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
So you actually fulfill something for people who can have stuff sitting around, have memorial pieces of special items that they really can't do anything except for maybe look at them now and then or try to remember where they are. And you actually put this together and help people really have something true that they could put together with a combination of people, a grandmother or grandfather. That's really that that's fantastic. That's inspiring because you can help people
Right.
maybe through some hard times. A pair of boots. Someone wouldn't even think of that, but it's like
Right.
being handed down a special, piece of clothing or something from someone. What do you do with it, especially if it doesn't fit?
Right.
And it's years and years old? You make that possible.
Right.
And you're a woman in business.
Mhm.
Tell us how that's going.
It's been challenging at times, but obviously very rewarding. We have a really, really great team here, all women team, and we laugh and we there's a lot of different personalities in here, but we work really well together. We have a great time. Um, I actually got the 2020 Small Business Award last year for Women
You
Owned
did.
Business of the Year. And that was really incredible because I know personally dozens of women owned business owners and businesses in the state of Montana that are, in my opinion, that it's who I aspire to be. So to receive that award was really, really amazing.
Well, I could probably go into some qualities that you have, but what do you think is the special sauce that you put in that um, at that particular time, not only did you get the award, but there had to be some reason, something that you're doing that really stands out from other businesses.
I think the main thing would have to be our customer service. We really make our customers feel super important and we listen I mean, it can be argued that I sometimes do things for my customers that I shouldn't do. I mean, I literally make tons of exceptions to just make sure that everybody's happy. And because I don't want somebody to buy something from me and not wear it or make use out of it. So we do pretty much anything within reason to make our customers happy. And they text me. I feel like I know my customers, even though many of them I've never met, but I feel like I know them all and I know that that's reciprocated and they feel like they know my kids. And you just build these odd relationships in social media that you never thought would get to that level. Yeah, it's beyond superficial. It's like I know these people, but might never meet them.
Well, I know that one of the things, during this pandemic, and we are totally in the midst of it. Have you seen any uptick in people reaching out during these times and connecting through you with what you do on a unique level?
I don't know that I've noticed. I feel like it's been a pretty steady. I mean, if you asked anybody on my team in here, they know like in constant conversation with people. So I don't know that I've necessarily noticed anything different during the pandemic, but um, I'm also in rural Montana. 150 people live here, and so it's a much different. Like, it is very quiet here, and I can't imagine doing what I do and living the life I have if I were anywhere else but here, because it lends itself to just this quiet. I have to like bring in the noise, you know what I mean? And invite in conversation, and otherwise it's just silent. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then through social media and your business, you get to, as you said, you get to meet a lot of people. So
That's
you said, you talked briefly, you mentioned family. You have 4 children.
mhm.
How have you managed to incorporate raising 4 children, and they're not grown out in college? They range from, what are their ranges?
My oldest is 13, and then my youngest is 4.
Okay, so you're running a successful business. You're doing a lot of the hands-on work. How are you managing to incorporate that with, your family? You're raising 4 children.
So, my background in, I actually got my degree in elementary education, and I
Oh,
was going to be a teacher. And the year that I finished my student teaching and was offered a teaching position, I really struggled. My business was new. So I was really struggling. Do I take the or 8 to 3 job with weekends off, summers off with my kids, and a lot of security, or do I take the artist path and have that freedom? And I thank God every day that I chose the path I chose. But because I chose that, I'm here. I own my time. I can go. My house is just right out the door. So you walk out of my shop door, and I'm just right across there's just a little road, and there's my house. And the school is right next door to our property, which of course they're not going right now. And then I'm married to a rancher, so he also owns his time. So he's home for dinner every night, and together, certainly together, we are able to make it all work. It's crazy at times, but it's also, we just really wouldn't have it any other way.
so you've picked, not only are you able to do what you're passionate about, you're helping people with life and memories, and maybe getting through some bad times, some happy times. You're raising a family, um, and your husband's a rancher.
Yeah.
So it sounds like just a perfect mix. But we
Mhm.
know there's no perfection.
Right.
There's got to be struggles in there and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
I'm not pushing for you to come up with them,
Yeah.
but you make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
And you're running a very successful business. How many employees do you have?
So we're a team of 5. We have,
Wow,
yep.
all
And
that much, huh?
yep. And we had, yeah, we're still super small. But we did actually hire one of our employees full time during the pandemic, which was not something I anticipated, because at first, when the pandemic hit back in March, it was crickets around here. Our sales dipped really low, and we just had to really pivot and figure out what can we do. And then come June, we were ready to hire, and I brought on Dee. She's full time, and she does a lot of the computer stuff that I like to make the boots. I don't want to do the advertising and the emails, and she's super great at that. So that changed a lot of the business this year as well. Well, 2020. So um I don't know. We've made a lot of changes. There's been a lot of frustrations and things that, we could not guess were going to happen. But we just constantly are ready to pivot and assess and do what we got to do.
But you stay true to what you do. And one of the things that you said was, I think that it's more important to stick to the heart of the business, which is unique, one of a kind, and that's what we will always do. We do not duplicate ever.
Ever.
So you said you've had a pivot, but you've still stuck to the core business.
That's right. Yep. So we will never duplicate, and we make that. It's hard to make promises a lot of times, and business, and a lot of my mentors will say like, never make a promise or a guarantee that you can't back up. But just because of the materials that we use and the way that we can, we have 1,000 choices every time we get a boot across our desk, right? So there's no need to duplicate anything.
So hang on a second, because a few minutes ago I asked you if the pandemic had changed anything, and you said no. Well, evidently it changed something in a big way, and it's
Yeah.
doing what you really set out to do. You
Right,
started with your own boots,
right,
and now it's even, the pandemic has caused the business to basically turn to what you love the most.
right, right.
And again, has helped people who would never be able to think about, especially in these times, actually just going up online and spending that money and buying a pair of boots. Now they're able to have something special, which could really lighten up a person's life,
Mhm.
uh, especially now.
Right, right.
So when somebody asks you again, how did it change?
You just dug. You got it right out of me.
That's great. What have been some of the biggest challenges for you?
Um, challenges always for me have been finding the right people to work with,
Okay.
especially when you live in a town of 150 people. Anybody that's employable is employed, and we have to pull from, there's little towns 20 miles in every direction, and I've looked there, and that it's hard to find somebody and keep them. Really, that's number one. Um, Number two is our supply. When I started, belts were 50 cents. Boots were, I could find a good pair of boots for $60. Now we're at good belts are $18 to $20 each. And boots have doubled. So I've priced myself out of my own market. But that's a challenge. But that's also the reason why my prices rise and the whole wheel.
Sure.
But um I mean, time. Really, even though my house is here and my kids are here and my husband's here and all of that is great, time is always, always, always an issue. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm always talking to my customers, and I really don't have an off switch for that. And I should, to keep healthy and pay more attention to, what's right here. But time, we can never get enough of it. So I don't know. That's
Well,
about it though.
luckily for you, you're doing something you love. And even though, yes, it's very healthy to find time for yourself,
Yeah.
because you have found time for your family, you've found time for your business. Finding time for ourselves is big, and you have to just cut out, carve out that time and
Right.
say, okay, fine, this is what I'm going to be doing, or I'm not going to be doing anything at this specific moment, and just do that, get into that routine of giving yourself basically time off, giving
Right.
yourself a break. And that's where, as women, we usually don't. We, as mothers and business women and so on, it's not always something that we do. Some of us are getting better at it, but it's something that you have to really say to yourself, I'm going to do this for me.
Yes. A
And
new
remember, when
habit.
you do it for you, everyone else around you benefits from it.
That's right.
So, um, who are some of the people that we would know who are out there wearing your boots?
So, the number one, what really changed, I mean, when we kind of exploded was the Victoria's Secret models. They wore them for a shoot, and a couple of the models purchased boots for their own personal collection. So Taylor Hill, Victoria's Secret model, Katy Perry, one of the Backstreet Boys, but I can't think of his name. Um, Nako Bear.
So, about how many pair of boots do you make in a year?
We make about 2,000 boots a year.
That's a lot. You're doing it all
Yep.
by hand.
Yep. All by hand. Yep. And it doesn't go out the door unless it's quality and has been inspected, and we do all the things. It's all made with love. So yeah.
Okay. So, here we go. What is there anything that you haven't done that you'd like to do
In life or in the business?
in life?
Oh, in life. Ooh, I definitely want to travel with my family.
Mhm.
We just have not been able to find the time, mostly because I'm married to a rancher and they don't really get to leave. But I definitely want to do some traveling with my family and go somewhere tropical and let them experience that because we're just far from that. So it would be a really unique experience.
And what kind of advice would you give to a young girl who's looking, or someone who, like you were going to be a teacher and you had to make that decision?
Ooh.
What advice would you give to somebody who's coming up against that critical time? Go with your passion or go with something that is safe?
Definitely go with your passion. When that decision was in front of me, I called 6 people that their opinions matter to me, influential people in my life, my parents and close friends, and 4 of the 6 told me to take the teaching job. Um, just because of the safety net and really that they were looking out for me. I mean, I can appreciate that. But all along, it was in my gut that I could get to the point where I'm so busy or I want to do these events or I want to go here, I want to go there, and I cannot do that if I'm tied up in a teaching contract. So being a teacher would have been amazing. I still sometimes envision a classroom of my own and how fun it would be, but it was in my gut that that this was my passion, and I knew that it would be something. I did not know it would be this, but I for sure knew that I should follow whatever that was, my intuition that I should be an artist. So,
And you are.
yes.
And I think that's wonderful. And you're actually using your teaching skills by homeschooling your children right now, or remote learning your children. And you've got a variety of different grades there that they're going through.
Yeah, and sometimes it is not easy. It really puts you in check how many, my test is always how many times do I have to Google something? So it's like, hang
Okay.
on, I don't know that. I will Google that.
All right. Well, where can people find out more information about Canty?
So Canty Boots, we are cantyboots.com to shop our collection. We have new arrivals every week on the website. And then we're on social media at Canty Boots, and that's CANTY Boots.
That's fantastic. Nikki, it's been so much fun. And yes, people wouldn't think that making boots could make people feel good about certain things. And it does, especially the way you're doing it. So keep up that great work. It's been so much fun. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for doing this.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. I really appreciate it. I'm honored. Thank you.
My pleasure. You can find us on all of your popular podcast platforms. And of course, our website, sylviame.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned.